Hello everybody, Thy Lord Root here, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Cities. So we've done a number of things here. We've ended up with a rather peculiar problem. And that problem in particular is that we are beginning to run out of workers for, these people to hire. And that's rather unfortunate, because we do happen to need them. So what I've decided to do here is I'm going to take this here, and I'm going to begin by expanding out our farm island, where we'll have a sector dedicated to residences. Now, it's not going to be a huge deal, mind you. We're essentially going to go in and get these guys connected up. And what I'll do here is I will, get a small connection going. And that way, we'll have a couple of things we can deal with here. First of all, we do want to deal with the train situation here. And the unfortunate thing about the train situation is that, unfortunately, there are not going to be much in the way of people who, who could, take advantage of it yet. We gotta route around a few things, because as it turns out, one of the support columns here is in the way, and we must deal with that. But on top of that, we do have an issue here where we are not entirely in the best of situations here. I'm just, really what I need to do, what I should have done to begin with, is not make this thing hurt. I suppose it's far too late for that. And that much, at least, is going to be a bit of a problem for us, because we're not going to have this nice, suppose you would call it, this nice circular city here. Well, we know that this guy here is already abandoned. And so I'm going to begin the construction of a roundabout here that everybody can hook into. Maybe put up some walled highways or something. Although, well, these guys are one way to begin with, aren't they? And they'll just come on through here and connect in. Like so. Let's just go with the straight road here. I said let's go with the straight road. My game has gotten so laggy as it turns out that there's not much of an opportunity for us to be able to, sometimes when we click on bits in the GUI, you know, they'll disappear. So we lost a little bit of commercial, or rather industrial, that way. But it'll have to do. And we'll do something maybe like this here to accommodate a train station. Probably very likely too, what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade these guys here. If I can get it done. We don't need this bottleneck here for sure. But we'll upgrade these to, oh no, that was the correct road type. Anyway, all of this sector here probably up until we get up to here. We'll make a residential zone where we will keep our uneducated workers. Because in this case, we're considering education to be a vice. And it's not a vice that we really want to encourage in this zone. We'll do like that. And why not go ahead, upgrade that road to a thing here. Let's not encourage traffic problems. And let's get these guys to do their thing. Now, what will be necessary for this? Well, one of the things we'll want is we'll probably want something along these lines here. We'll just have, I guess you'd call it a little tributary. And we'll go on through and zone all this high density. Because one of the things I was uncertain about, but which I now know, is that it is possible for us to take this and turn it into high density residential. And you know, I was a little bit skeptical that unskilled workers would move in there. We'll have ourselves a little bit of a zone for workers that are not skilled, but for, maybe for breeding purposes, because the advantage that the low density offers is that people do reproduce with it. That's a good one there. And we want people to be able to do that. Because reproduction is, we don't want people to be able to escape the grip of poverty. Now, people will work if they're overeducated, but if they're overeducated, then they'll be unhappy, and while this is meant to be a dystopia, we don't want people to be too unhappy, because then we will not be able to collect tax money. Another thing as well, at least something that I've noticed, we have some gaps here. So, like, for instance, this guy here did not have water, and people were complaining about water. And I don't really, we want to mitigate any complaints that we can get here. So let's take advantage of the fact that we have this sort of zoning out here. Let's get the people all watered up. And maybe get them doing their thing. We'll put a district out. Or we'll extend the district here by living in this particular district. They'll get a tax break. One that will prevent us from having to lower taxes. And by the way, I do have a bit of foreknowledge about how this is going to end up, because I recorded this and then it turns out I wasn't recording, I was in preview mode. So let's do the following. Let's make these guys up here residential. Not just any residential, let's zone them for low density. Because we want people with not much of an education to continue their breeding cycle. And we'll do a small bit here. And then what we'll do is we'll get all these guys hooked up to whatever they need to be hooked up to, really. I'm going to put some high density here too, so that we can afford this. And maybe in one of these spots, just to keep them happy, because you don't want them to start revolting. That's the last thing that you want them to do. Maybe somewhere like here, a central location. We'll maybe throw up a park. Let's see if maybe that helps. My guess is probably not too much, but we'll put in a Japanese garden. And we'll see how they handle this right here. The park, for some strange reason, needs electricity. Let's just get this guy going, because we have, you know, really we should invest a little bit more in this. Just to make sure that all of the workers manage to get something out of it. Oh, another thing too. We really do, we want to extend that district here. We've already put up, so we'll do that. We just take the district tool, and maybe extend it out to here. This entire island will be one district. And you know, while we're at it, we might as well get these guys to extend out to here so that we could possibly do something with respect to our power situation. And it doesn't need to be high class by any means. Because you know what, we've already got enough issues. Why worry about, you know, getting these guys here to do their thing? Probably those guys will complain about power shortly. Let's just fast forward the time. And maybe hope that these guys will be within range. In fact, what does the whole power situation look like? I mean, it's going to be real spotty for now, because we have sort of overbuilt this thing. And demand for residences is going to briefly go up. But, there's not too much you can do about that. We just have to wait for... Because, you know, there are other things I want to do. I want to put in a train station, for instance. Wow, there is a ton of traffic here. They're not taking the most direct route, are they? There we go, everybody is connected. I don't feel so bad about that anymore. But yeah, let's go to our policy issue here. I do remember I changed this name to Illuminati Hills. And it never took for some reason. Let's see. What we'll do is we will lower taxes on low density residential and on high density. That'll encourage people to build, I think. And we're gonna essentially, before too long, run into issues with... I know that we already have property value issues coming up. And there's a demolished building right there, so let's stick in a Japanese garden. Because why not? It'll make people happier, and they need everything in this world that they can to take their mind off of the injustice which I have decided to propagate. You know, we'll put this here. Why not? Rent will go down temporarily while people are upgrading. In fact, happiness will too. And now we'll have to stave off this issue with there not being enough people living that are educated. But I mean, you could see that the burden of this guy here, I mean, we are getting more workers here. We just need, oh man, we need a lot. We need to possibly come up here and put on an on-ramp, and I do have the perfect solution for this. At least the one I think will work. I think if we, you know, we need to go over here. Maybe begin building a curved road out here. And kind of the same here, so these people can turn off. If we could just get these guys to come onto the roundabout. And maybe do the same up here. Then, yeah, we could get this going pretty quickly. Another thing, too, that we need to start worrying about, that we have not worried about, but should, is the fact that we have a railway that needs to be built. Which means, of course, we're going to push back this windmill back to the, I suppose back to the coast. We are going to start with our public transit here. And there will be a small bridge for these guys here to... No, they'll come around and they'll do their thing. Maybe like that. And we'll just need to get these guys built around here. What's a little bit more worrying is the location of that university. can we... Now we can run the bridge under, like so. And then we can begin possibly working on... I don't know if you'd necessarily call it a roundabout as such, but we need a way for us to accept train traffic. And I'm going to start on that immediately, because we need more in the way of trains here. So that these people can get to and from work. And we'll do something kind of like this, I think. Or we'll just have a little bridge that will come over here. And one moment. Okay, so we are back, and we've got a couple of things we gotta take care of. I went ahead and decided to lay the foundation for our railway down. And, Guy Lady Roots decided to join me in this, by the way. I'm just, right now, trying to get rid of all of these abandoned buildings, because we grew a little bit too quickly. We maybe don't have the means to sustain our oil industry, because, well, the issue is largely that we're overstaffed, or understaffed, rather. Anyway, I'm gonna move forward here. So, we had a number of buildings, probably because of the fact that, you know, these people cannot hire anybody just quite yet. But I'm going to work on a bridge over here. One that will allow us transportation over this way. And I'm going to get rid of the curve tool. This needs to be a straight line. And I want to put in the central, I suppose you call it the central deal, so that, you know, we can maybe get people, oh, we keep on getting these abandoned buildings. You know what, I give up for the time being. These guys, well, we don't have any residential demand, and that's part of the issue here. I think maybe what we could do is we could... Oh no. There we go. So we're just gonna let these guys move in the hopes that you see that demand is going up just a shade. And I'm hoping that maybe we're gonna have this bridge bifurcate like this. But it does not really seem to like that idea. So we need a junction here where we are free to turn around. That of course means zooming out and moving this guy over here. Space is already occupied just because this guy here could maybe use some enhancements. But yeah, we'll come down and get this guy to turn around here. We really, we want a way that we can maybe get these guys here to turn off onto our train stations. I'm thinking the best thing to do is to have a lot of them, because that is it can't hurt to have a lot. And we'll just come over this way here and connect. Or something like that. And we'll just, we'll come over here and we'll maybe get these guys to turn off here. We need a quick way to get these guys to our station, but I'm running into this very weird issue because now I can't make a junction because it just does not want me to be able to turn. And that's a wee bit of a problem. I think, we may be able to, given that we don't have this turn here, we may be able to do this, but for some reason just merging up here on the bridge seems to not be very likely of an idea. So we'll put this train station in. Maybe around here. There'll be a lot of traffic if we do this, but I think we can get around this. And we will get this guy hooked up. Incidentally, I looked at the asset editor, and there does seem to be one minor weakness with the editor as it stands. That weakness being that oh come on, target this thing. It just doesn't like that. You know what I think we'll do? We will turn around here in a loop. maybe like this. It's going to tell me distance is too short. We just really want a junction here, that's all I'm asking for. We can use that to turn around. Now, unfortunately, I'm not sure about the, I'm not really sure if trains work like they do in Transport Tycoon. Okay, let's see if maybe we can do something about this. I'm just going to get rid of this segment here. And we'll come back up here and get this guy set up. Now maybe we can do like that. I don't think it's particularly fond of the way we're doing things, because it's... Maybe we'll do like this. We have a little island there that we could possibly populate with something. Maybe we can stick a windmill there. And that'll contribute. And they seem to be okay with that. Well, there's fortunate news for us, so... That fortunate news being that, we now have a place for our residents to go. And now we have this mass exodus, because there's a worker shortage here now. I guess part of the issue is that we simply do not have enough interest in people moving here. Now, what if I could take this approach that I've been taking? Maybe go up here. And I cannot do that, unfortunately. There's just not enough in the way of width here. But that will just have to do. This guy can at least go around like that, if necessary. Maybe we should start thinking about paying off one or two of these loans so that we can get the cash in. Because definitely, you know, we don't want to overdo it by any means. If we take a look at our resources here, there's water and sewage are good. Power is probably very good, but we have no means at the moment to take advantage of that. We have tons of people that have just moved on out. I guess part of the deal is that these people have decided that, you know, they've decided maybe that they just do not wish to participate in our little game anymore. And that they do not want to farm. Now, what are we going to do about this? Because I'm more uncertain. We put in crematoria here. Although maybe that was... Yeah, there are crematoria. They just can't deal with it. If we have ourselves a local crematorium, that may be okay. Let's take a look at the health. You know, we happen to have issues with the dead. The dead have decided to rise up and cause us issues. Most of these people are dying, and it looks like or maybe not apartment complexes. It's not quite so true. It feels so bizarre to me that these hearses just can't do anything. Maybe it's time to increase our budget just a little bit on the death care. How's this guy doing, by the way? Might be good. You know, we're already polluted here. What do we have here? These are shopping centers. Okay, I'm gonna empty this. Nobody is burning this garbage. Oh, we had a blackout. Okay. Maybe we can do something about that. time to power these guys up. What do we do about the garbage situation here? You know, I wish there was a way that we could get this guy to go on down to the incinerator like it's supposed to, because somewhere around here there is an incineration plant. What do we have here? Offices, commercial. Well, you know what? This guy is next to an incinerator, so... or can be next to an incinerator, so why don't we do that? We will incinerate our garbage, and nobody will care. We'll just have to come in and... maybe we can sneak this guy here. Does not appear to be likely that we can, though. Let's see if we can find... this guy looks like it's underutilized as an office. No, I do not want to create the road. Oh, there we go. Except there's no real way for us to do this. I guess we'll just have to start incinerating our trash here. Yes, yes, I know. You do not like the fact that there is an incinerator here. But you know what? It's necessary. If there was ever a time that an incinerator was necessary, it's now. Still plenty of abandoned buildings to worry about in this case, and... well, maybe not so many. We still got problems with workers, too. See, how's our high density shaping up over here? You know, with the residential demands, we're doing okay, I think. And we are not so bad when it comes to availability of workers. Let me just see how much time we got. We should pretty soon be able to hit the 2,400 mark, or 24,000 rather. And that will get us things that we'll want, like shipyards. These tiles are, you know, if I had to go back and do it again, Catan XL would probably not be the map for me. I think Catan XL does take... oh, they're having garbage issues. You know what? I'm going to incinerate here too. will make these businesses a little bit unhappy, but you know what, they're just going to have to deal with it, I guess. Because we don't have any landfills here. Let's see, are these guys under the same district? They are. We'll go to Garland Heights real quick. Go to policies. We'll turn on recycling power usage. Maybe free public transport eventually. Now, one of the things that is going to be in demand very soon are commercial zones. And commercial zones can be a bit of a problem here because I guess high density is what we want. I'm going to assume that we should have high density commercial here. We'll do something along these lines. Maybe get some public transit going. Something that we can take care of. And we'll just zone this out for high density. It's not the best use of this land, but that should help us just a little. They'll complain about what? Oh, actually, no, they won't. That surprises me. However, I do know of a place that will complain about water if we're not careful. Because to drum up transportation here, I'm going to put in one of these guys if I can fit it. Do something kind of like that. It'll make it easier to get around. They say these guys are not too good for the purpose I have in mind. But you know, I think that'll be fine. It'll help definitely because these guys will be able to move around. Granted, they will still have to deal with noise, and that's part of what they'll just put up with. But I'm still not entirely sure why these guys are leaving in droves. Because, we have one highly educated person here that can afford to live here. If we take a look at least at our resources here, our budget due to that's road service, maybe if we, somewhere around here I believe is imports. We get tourism. Because people do like to visit the oil field when they're on vacation. And that's not something we should forget about. Oh, let's see. Can we get this? Hopefully a fire truck is already here and getting rid of the fire. With all these people that have moved in, I don't know really what to say. We haven't even scratched the surface on this. We really need to. This whole mining operation here, I think, is... We've got enough, I believe. Enough for our purposes. To where people really do. They really do like us, and they really do want to become a part of our lovely city. We'll just alleviate some of the commercial pressure here. And there we go, we are a capital city. What I'm going to focus on next... We could do a nuclear power plant. I don't know if that's a good idea. It uses a lot of water, that much is certain. And we need 32,000 in order to do that, but we get land. I'm going to start to create another desert district, I think, because we are getting pretty close out there. And you know what? This place here would be very good for us. We're going to let that be. We almost, if we buy that tile, we really could do a number of things here. I could buy this, and then we would have the, you know, we'd have a port, and that port would be a good start. It's something we wouldn't have to worry about. Hopefully. And that'll maybe bring in tourists. We've already got ships here. So I'll maybe make that my next priority. Let's see, these guys are out of water, unfortunately. And they're going to start complaining about that, so before I go, before I forget, I will put that in. Garbage is becoming a huge problem in this city. Death, not so much. If we just take a look real quick at, you know, we're still at 160. And worker shortages are down, I guess. Except for over here, where I will really have to think very hard about what it is we're doing. But we'll leave that till next time. And until then, this has been Thy Lord Root, and I will see you